You've had a long day. Work's done, the real world is behind you, and all you want to do is log into World of Warcraft and blow off some steam. Maybe you grab some food, maybe you chat with friends on Discord, but in your mind, you're thinking, tonight's the night I finally get some PvP in. So, you log on, pick your character, open up the PvP panel, and hit that Q button. This should be the start of the fun, right? But instead, it's the start of the waiting game. 5 minutes go by, then 10. You tab out, scroll social media, maybe even start a YouTube video. 15 minutes, 20 minutes, sometimes 30 or even 40 minutes later, the match finally pops. And by the time you load into the arena or battleground, you've already burned through a huge chunk of a little playtime you had for the night. That's not just frustrating, it's demoralizing. Because for most players these days, World of Warcraft isn't a game you sink 12 hours into like it's 2006. Most people have jobs, school, families, and responsibilities. They might only have an hour or two at the end of the day, and when the majority of that time is spent waiting for the game to even let you play, it's no wonder so many people just give up on PvP entirely. And this is the core issue. The queue system, the very backbone of WoW PvP, is killing it for normal players who just want to log in and have fun. Nobody is excited to sit in a digital waiting room, staring at the screen while their precious gaming time slips away. So here's the question. What if World of Warcraft PvP worked differently? What if instead of endless queues, it ran more like Call of Duty, or Apex, or Overwatch, where you hop into a lobby and get non-stop action? Would that finally fix the problem that's been plaguing PvP for years? Or would it just create a whole new set of issues? The queue system worked fine back when WoW was at its peak. You'd press the button, maybe wait a few minutes, and you were in. Simple, fast, and reliable. But today, queues are brutal. If you're playing Arena at a higher rating, you can be stuck waiting 20 to 30 minutes just for a single match. And if that game ends in 2 minutes, back to the line you go. The ratio of waiting to playing is completely upside down. Solo Shuffle, which was supposed to fix accessibility, isn't much better. During peak hours, you can still wait a long time. Off hours? Forget it. Sometimes you sit in queue so long you wonder if it's even going to pop at all. And then there are Battlegrounds, especially rated ones. These can take longer to form than they take to finish. Spending 25 minutes in queue only to get stomped in a 10-minute blowout isn't fun. It's discouraging. And here's the real problem. Players don't have endless time anymore. Most people aren't no-lifing WoW like it's 2006. They've got work, school, families, and maybe only a couple hours a night to play. When half or more of that time gets eaten up by queues, it's not just a bad experience. It makes PvP feel like a waste of time. This is why so many players quit PvP after a few weeks each season. It's not that they don't enjoy the actual fights, it's that the system between those fights keeps them from playing enough to matter. Now, let's look at games like Call of Duty, Apex Legends, or even Overwatch. What do they all have in common? You don't spend your night waiting, you spend your night playing. You join a lobby, the game starts, and when it ends, you're right back in that same lobby ready for the next round. There's no 20-minute gap, no dead time where you're sitting in silence. It's constant momentum. Imagine if WoW PvP worked the same way. Instead of hitting the Q button and tabbing out, you'd join a lobby of players and run match after match. Maybe it's arenas, maybe it's battlegrounds, maybe it's a mix. The point is, the action never stops. The round ends, you collect your rewards or rating changes, and the next map is already loading. If WoW PvP adopted that system, players could grind multiple matches in the same amount of time it currently takes to finish just 1 or 2. Think about that. Instead of getting 3 games in during a 2-hour play session, you might squeeze in 10, 12, or more. That's not just more gameplay, it's more chances to climb rating, more opportunities to improve, and more reasons to stay logged in. The flow would finally feel natural. Play, to rematch, to next map. No awkward waiting room in between, no wasted half hours. Just a smooth rhythm that keeps the adrenaline going. Downtime would shrink from 20 minutes to 20 seconds. And that's the kind of change players notice. For people with limited time, players who log on after work or after school, maybe with only a couple hours before bed, that difference is everything. It's the difference between logging off frustrated because you barely played at all, or logging off satisfied because you actually got a full night of PvP. And honestly, that's what PvP should be about, letting you actually play the game you logged in for, not forcing you to spend half your night in a digital waiting line. First, more games per night. Right now, if you've only got 2 hours to play, you're lucky if you get 3 decent matches in before you have to log off. But in a lobby system, that same 2-hour window could give you 10, 15, maybe even more games. That's triple or quadruple the actual playtime. Imagine how much more exciting it would be to finish a night knowing you had a full set of matches under your belt, instead of a handful that barely scratched the itch. Second, faster progression. Progression in WoW PvP is tied directly to matches. Your rating goes up or down based on wins and losses. You earn conquest and honor through games, and achievements are tied to participation. But the queue system slows all of that down to a crawl. With lobbies, you'd be able to knock out games back to back, meaning faster rating gains, faster gearing, and faster progress toward those elite rewards. No more wasting your entire night for just a sliver of conquest. You'd feel rewarded for the time you actually put in. Third, momentum and rhythm. Right now, PvP feels like stop-and-go traffic. You play one match, slam on the brakes while you sit in queue, play another, stop again, over and over. That kills the flow. A lobby system would make it feel more like a smooth highway, fast, consistent, and exciting. You'd go from match to match with that adrenaline still pumping, instead of cooling off during a 20-minute downtime. That rhythm makes PvP more addictive in the best way possible. Fourth, player retention. This is the big one. People stick with games that respect their time. It's why shooters, MOBAs, and battle royales keep massive player bases. They let you get into the action quickly and keep you there. Right now, WoW PvP bleeds players every season because they log in, spend more time waiting than playing, and decide it's not worth it. A lobby system flips that equation. Faster matches, more rewards, and more action means fewer people quitting out of frustration and more people staying invested for the whole season. And that's the point. This isn't just a quality of life improvement. For the average player, a lobby system could completely change how fun PvP feels. Instead of being a niche activity bogged down by wait times, it could feel alive again. Something you look forward to logging in for, not something you dread because of the queues. First, matchmaking balance. Games like Call of Duty don't really care if every match is perfectly even. One lobby might be stacked with pros, the next with casuals, and that's just how it goes. But WoW is built differently. PvP here has a rating system that people care about. If Blizzard just threw people into endless lobbies without considering MMR, you'd risk creating non-stop mismatches, high-rated players stomping low-rated players, or one team stacked with healers while the other has none. To make lobbies work, the system would need to carefully integrate rating and matchmaking, so the games stay competitive while still moving fast. That's not impossible, but it's a big design hurdle. Second, MMORPG logistics. WoW isn't a shooter. It's not just 5 players with identical loadouts spawning on a map. It's an MMORPG with different classes, specs, roles, and team compositions that actually matter. In arenas, you need a healer and DPS distribution. In Battlegrounds, you need to balance team sizes and make sure maps rotate smoothly. If you just drop everyone into a free-flowing lobby without accounting for those things, it could feel chaotic in the wrong way. Blizzard would have to design the lobby system to handle healer shortages, role checks, and fair distribution, something other games don't even have to think about. Third, the system overhaul. This is a technical one, but it matters. WoW's entire PvP framework is built around queues. Queues decide who's matched with who, when matches start, and how players are pulled from the world into the arena or battleground. A lobby system would mean a massive back-end rework. It's not just a new feature, it's a new foundation. And anyone who's played WoW long enough knows Blizzard doesn't exactly move quickly when it comes to fundamental tech changes. The question isn't just would lobbies be better, it's also could Blizzard even implement them without breaking everything else? Fourth, burnout risk. This one sounds odd, but it's real. Faster matches also mean faster tilts. Right now, if you lose a frustrating game, you've got 20 minutes of downtime before the next one. Time to cool off, grab a drink, reset. In a lobby system, you might go from one loss straight into another, and another, and another, with no break. That could lead to burnout or frustration stacking up quicker than it does now. Some players would thrive on the non-stop action, but others might log off even sooner after a string of bad games. But here's the thing. When you weigh these concerns against the current reality, they still feel smaller compared to the frustration of waiting half your playtime away. Technical hurdles can be solved. Role checks can be adjusted. Even burnout can be managed with smarter lobby design. But nothing will ever make a 30-minute queue feel good. And that's the heart of it. The pain of wasting your limited game time is bigger than any of the risks lobbies might bring. Battleground rotations. Battlegrounds are one of the most iconic parts of WoW PvP, but the queue system kills them. You sit around forever waiting for a rated BG, only for one match to end in 10 minutes, and then you're back to square one. But what if once you got into a Battleground lobby, you stayed there as the match rotated? One match could be Warsong Gulch, the next Arathi Basin, then Eye of the Storm. Teams could shuffle a little between rounds to keep things fresh, but the important thing is that you're never sitting idle. It would feel more like a PvP playlist, something familiar to anyone who's played Halo, Overwatch, or, again, Call of Duty. Weekend or seasonal events. Blizzard could also test the waters with time-limited modes. Picture a Blitz Night event every Friday where you join a lobby that fires off rapid matches one after another. Or seasonal PvP festivals where the whole point is fast games, non-stop action, and bonus rewards for staying in the rotation. These kinds of events would be low-stakes ways for Blizzard to experiment with lobby-style gameplay without overhauling the entire system. If it works, expand it. If it doesn't, tweak it. Players would appreciate just having the option. And that's really the key here: choice. The rating integrity of queues could still be preserved for competitive modes, but when you just want to play, when you've only got a couple hours and you don't want to waste them, you'd have the option to hop into a lobby system that respects your time. That kind of flexibility is what could keep more people engaged, instead of burning out after a handful of frustrating nights. At the end of the day, this all boils down to one thing. PvP players don't quit because they lost a close game. In fact, most of us live for those matches, the nail-biters that come down to the last second, where one good cooldown, one lucky crit, or one clutch CC decides everything. Losing those games can still feel good, because you know you got to play. What actually drives people away is the wasted time in between. Sitting in a queue for 20, 30, sometimes 40 minutes just to get one round that ends in 2 minutes flat, that's the problem. It doesn't feel like you lost a match, it feels like you lost your entire evening. And when players start logging off with that bitter taste in their mouth, night after night, they eventually stop logging back in at all. Think about it. When your game session is 80% waiting and 20% playing, how long are you going to put up with that? Nobody spends their free time hoping for the chance to maybe get to play a game. They want to play. That's what makes people stick around, and that's what WoW PvP is failing to deliver. So, should WoW PvP go to lobbies like Call of Duty? If you care about balance and RPG identity, queues still serve a purpose. But if you care about your time, lobbies could be the revolution we need. So now I'll throw it to you. Would you play more WoW PvP if it ran like Call of Duty with rapid-fire lobbies? Or do you think that breaks the spirit of the game? Let me know in the comments. And if you've ever spent 40 minutes in a PvP queue and felt your night get wasted, hit the like button so Blizzard sees this. Don't forget to subscribe for more WoW PvP commentary, and I'll see you in the next one.